Everyone. Again, my name is Briscoe Mention-Lewis, Deputy Police Commissioner of Suffolk County. And I like to think of mentoring young people as a community-based approach, right? It's not just schools or organizations or companies or individuals. It's the entire community that does mentorship. The way CODA does it is it's a support group for those previously incarcerated primarily. One thing we know about young people is the reason why they get involved in criminality is because they're disconnected. And so the best, or where they fail academically, is they're disconnected from their education, they're disconnected from the environment. So the first thing CODA does is it's a weekly support group for those for people. We have an adult one on Thursday nights and a youth one on Wednesdays. Once those previously incarcerated transform their lives, they then do outreach, paid outreach, and also unpaid outreach and case management, trained case management to work with young people. We have a weekly meeting on Wednesdays for adults, Thursdays for teens, and right now our young people's one is up to about 27 kids in a meeting a night, and they're not mandated. They're coming on their own. And we did a study of the 34 young people we have right now, 34 out of 34 are on probation or have pending cases. So we're getting to the right people. Our intake showed that out of the 21 people we intaked last week, 11 out of 21 had either been victims of gun violence or had pending gun cases. And so I don't just do mentorship, I do targeted intervention mentorship, meaning I'm targeting the people who are going to, the question I always ask is, when I go to a neighborhood is, who is the next child to kill or be killed? And kids know. If you ask 5 kids or 10 kids in a neighborhood, who's the next kid to kill or be killed? 8 out of 10 will say the same exact kid. And so our job is to outreach to those and then have the older guys who've gone through that, maybe have criminal records, maybe, so our outreach workers and case managers have done as little as 5 years, although that's not little obviously, to up to 20 years incarceration. And so the model really is about transforming, we call them, think about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman brought herself out of the darkness, right? And she went back and got others. So our CODA members are conductors in the sense that they go get themselves out of the darkness. We gave them a CODA model, which is a CBT, cognitive behavior model, and then they go back and they outreach and they bring people back in, young people in, and they transform others. And the last thing I want to say is, we've been in existence, this is our 10-year anniversary for CODA. 10 years. We have them in Wyandanch, Huntington, we have fledgling ones in Nassau County, we have 5 in Chicago that we've started. Another important thing is the last one, even before last, we had, there was a conflict in the town of Hempstead where we used to be really prolific. There was a conflict between teenagers, right? Where it was even on the news. We had a 21-year-old CODA member who came to us when he was 14 because his crew was robbing people, and our older CODA members heard about him, reached out to him. So his crew, his social network became about a CODA social network, his 10 friends. Though that 21-year-old, who's now 21, who was 14 at the time, reached out to those 15 and 16-year-old teens and brought them all the way out to Huntington, CODA, to do the intervention with those 5 boys who were in conflict, who made a riot in the school. So that's 30-year-old bringing in the 21-year-old who brings in the 15-year-old. That is, that's lasting change in a community. And the last thing I want to say is CODA has a rule, the rule of 10, that each CODA member, after you transform yourself, you must transform 10. If you learned electrical, you do 10 for electrical. If you're an outreach worker, find 10 people who want to do what you want to do. If you got your master's degree, which we have CODA members with master's degrees with honors, you've got to do 10. And so we are firm believers in the rule of 10. And that's how we're going to change the trajectory of African-American males through long-term mentorship and lifelong friendship.
Thank you.
Thank you.